Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterberg501 and today I want to go over what I think is the best build for the MPX in patch 12.9 of Escape from Tarkov. Now before we get into the video, 99% of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so make sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with all my Escape from Tarkov videos. And like with all of my builds, there will be a link in the description to the Tarkov Gunsmith website where you can go and easily see all the parts you need for this build and see updated prices for all those parts on the flea market. With the 9mm Vector being so ridiculous, I think a lot of people have forgotten about the MPX, but I still think this is easily one of the best weapons in the game. You'll see by the stats, with this full build and the magazine in, we're sitting at 55 ergo and 25 vertical recoil, easily making this one of the best statted weapons in the game still, and I definitely still really enjoy using this weapon. So first off, for the sight, you can use whatever sight you want to use, and the other things you have to choose when determining your sight are what sight you like to use, what range you're going to be using the weapon at, and how much the sight is going to affect the ergo of the weapon. But this is a lower muzzle velocity weapon, and it's an SMG, so you're probably going to be using it at low to medium ranges, so red dots or hollow sights are probably going to be your best bet. I personally like to use the EOTech XPS-30. And then we're going to be having a front and rear sight. You can use whichever ones increase ergo by 1 for each. I personally use the Magpul M-Bus Gen 2 front and rear sights for some free ergo. Then we're going to be using the SCH charging handle for the MPX. This is going to give us some additional ergo for essentially no change to the weapon. And then for the stock, we're going to be having the SIG retractable stock pipe adapter. Then on that, we're going to be using the SI Advanced Receiver Extension Buffer Tube, the anodized red one. And then on that, we're going to have the Mo Carbine stock, and then we're going to have the butt pad on the Mo Carbine stock. For the buffer tube, you can choose to use the normal advanced receiver tube, the non-red one, but the red one gives plus 5% accuracy and plus 2 to muzzle velocity for usually a decent additional price on the flea market because you can't get the red one from any of the vendors. Personally, if I'm doing a fully built version of the weapon using good ammo, I would much rather have the red one with that plus accuracy and the muzzle velocity instead of going with a slightly cheaper normal version of the buffer tube. And then you have two options for the pistol grip. You either have the Nora Arms Graal S pistol grip or you have the HK Ergo PSG-1. Now they do the same exact thing for stats. Technically, the Graal is slightly better because it weighs slightly less, but that weight reduction isn't going to matter pretty much at all or make the weapon feel different at all. So use whichever one of these is cheaper. I think the Graal S is usually the cheaper out of the two. And then you also do have some options with the magazine. Now the MPX does have a stick magazine with 41 rounds, which is pretty nice, but it also has access to a 50 rounder. Now the 50 rounder is only 9 additional rounds, but it also reduces the ergo of the weapon by 11 compared to the 41 rounder. Personally, I would always just use the 41 rounder. I think for that amount of ergo change, the 9 additional rounds isn't worth. And with this build, it is specifically set up to be with the 41 rounders. So I still have a really good ergo with having that really good recoil. Then the upper receiver, you don't have any options for it, so you're using the upper receiver that comes with it. Then for our grip, we're using the Magpul M-Lock 4.1 inch guide, and on that we're using the Fortis Shift Tactical Grip, which gives a ton of ergo to the weapon. Now I do have some options if you want to change it up a little bit. If you want to go with a lower ergo but also low recoil, you could go with the RK1, and then more so for recoil reduction, you could go with the RK2. Now personally, I don't think the recoil reduction on this weapon is at all worth it for getting that lower ergo. I think the Shift Tactical Grip is absolutely the best grip for this build and this weapon. For the tactical device, we're going to be using the Magpul M-Lock 2.5 inch guide. On that, we're going to be having the D-Ball tactical flashlight. I would always recommend using this tactical device whenever it can be on the weapon you're using. It gives an IR flashlight and a normal flashlight, but you can use whatever tactical device you want to use. Then we're going to be using the Osprey 9 sound suppressor. This is the best suppressor for the weapon. Now, if you want to go loud and didn't care as much about the weapon being silenced, you can go with the Carbine Break for SIG MPX, and that is going to give you an additional 13 ergo but not change the recoil at all. So if you want to, you could go with the loud variation of the build, and then you could easily switch up to the 50 round mag and have higher ergo than you did with the silencer, the same exact recoil, and have some additional rounds in the magazine. magazine, but personally, I think the silenced version of the weapon is a little bit stronger in general combat because this weapon is pretty silenced with the silencer, making it much harder for people to find where you are and much harder for people across the map to just sprint to your location after you get into a fight. For the barrel, we're going to be using the 14-inch barrel for the MPX, and then for our foregrip, we're going to be using the Midwest 14-inch M-Lock foregrip for MPX. And that is the entirety of this build. And like I said, I think this is still one of the best meta weapons in the game, especially if you're just looking at its stats. And I think it is pretty comparable to the 9mm Vepr as well. And like I said, there will be a link in the description to the Tarkov Gunsmith website where you can go and see all the parts you need for this build and see updated prices for all of those parts on the flea market. So subscribe if you want to see more Escape from Tarkov videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about this build. And thanks for watching.
Быть аккуратно, но сильно. Да вот он! Вот! Укрытие! Контакт! Gun!